Guys, for joining us this Tuesday at 7. We have Craig behind the camera, and we are here with Maria.
Hi.
And we appreciate you guys joining us today. We are here at Negative Space, and we're in Cleveland. And we're going to kind of walk through the gallery as we come back, and we're going to be talking with Maria about her creative endeavors. And she has some work back there, too, so we're going to be able to have a chance to talk about some things that you're doing.
Yeah.
For those folks that are watching the promo, they know that you do some modeling.
I do.
They know that you're also a fine artist. They know that there's
I am.
There's some uniqueness to both your look and to your artwork, and we're interested in exploring that as a group. And thank you guys for joining us today.
Oh, yeah, I'm thrilled to be here. This is great.
Yeah. So, you guys know, if you've never joined Tuesday 7, we're just a group. It's a community of artists and creatives and makers. We go live most Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. We encourage you to join the group if you'd like to. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of opportunity to collaborate and check out other artists and get some hacks and some tricks along the way. And let's actually start here. So if you joined us last week, we were at Nightmare Cleveland, and there's a connection there. We're going to talk about that just on our way into. But we were at Nightmare Cleveland, and we were talking to both Pappy and Marion and Marilyn, and we had a giveaway from last week. If you shared the interview last week, your name is in this hat. So, Maria, if you'd go ahead and choose the winner.
Ashley Wetzel.
Ashley, thank you for sharing last week.
Ashley Wetzel.
Thank you, Ashley. We are going to go ahead and connect with you, and we'll get that giveaway. There's some great haunting stuff here, and I know that not only did you share, but you gave a really nice introduction behind it, too. So we appreciate your words. We appreciate the share, and there were a lot of shares last week. And we appreciate you guys joining us. But we're at Negative Space. You want to see if you can capture that, Craig? One of the things that we encourage folks to do is, whether you're watching us live or whether you're watching the recorded session, feel free to throw in questions. Feel free to throw in a comment, or maybe you're even seeing some artists. You know some artists that are showing here as well, so feel free to just throw those out there, and Craig will throw them out here live, and we could also follow up with those if you're watching the recorded session as well. What a great space.
Right? It's beautiful in here. Gaddy has done a wonderful job making this gallery such a wonderful place to be. It's really something, you know? Yeah,
like, I could spend an hour and not even get 20 feet into the gallery. And what great work.
Yeah.
What's Negative Space? We're down kind of just east of Cleveland. We're just off of Route 90.
Yeah.
And I know that this building has a lot going on.
Yeah. It's got the Asian market downstairs, and there's martial arts up here, and a dance studio. And a whole bunch of restaurants, and it's a lovely place to be. Lots of different things going on.
Is a lot of this work I recognize is Gotti's work?
This is all Gotti's work.
Gotti's work.
In here, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I love his sculpture and his painting, his repurposing, his, great work. It was kind of funny. His eyes kind of stumbled on some of his pieces. I think there was some reels that I watched this last week, and I'm like, man. And didn't know that we'd be experiencing some of those here in person as well.
Yeah.
As folks, what we want to do is we want to encourage folks to share as well. If you share, in the very bottom left-hand side of your screen, there's a share button. When you share, we know it. And next week, we'll do another drawing.
Yeah.
And if your name is drawn, you'll get something
You'll get something of mine.
Is that something that we know what that's going to be yet, or is it going to be
It'll be a mystery.
It'll be a mystery. I think people share more for the mystery giveaways than actually if they see it. So we encourage you guys to share as well. Take us back to your space.
My space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or do we want
I have this. We'll move around a little bit.
Yeah. Go ahead and.
Well, this piece right here is one of my pieces, but my space is really over there.
Tell us a little bit about this piece.
This piece was fun. I was asked to do something for a festival, and the theme was like a psychedelic in nature. But they're also very spiritual people, and so I thought maybe it'd be fun to do like a tarot card thing. So I had a repurposed mannequin head from cosmetology school, and I had a lot of fun with it. And everything is blacklight paint, and everything has epoxy over it. But basically, it can just make a little bit of noise too. But you can read tarot cards through this, I suppose.
And of course, I would imagine it shows really well under
it does
black
under
too,
the black
right?
light. It's really cool. Unfortunately, I didn't have a black light today, of course. But yeah, it's really cool.
Now, folks have heard that me refer to you as Maria, but let's talk just a little bit about out on Facebook, and I would imagine on some of your other platforms. I read Magickally Morbid.
Yes, Magickally Morbid.
Tell us about the inspiration behind that, why you use a kind of a creative or an artistic moniker, and walk us through that.
Okay. Well, I think there's a lot of beauty in death. I think morbidity is something we can all learn something from. I think like when a tree gets struck by lightning and it falls, it's not really dead because there's a whole bunch of moss and a whole bunch of little critters that inhabit the area, and a whole new ecosystem that comes from that unfortunate event, right?
Yeah.
And I've had many unfortunate events in my life that have made me feel like that tree. And so many awesome things have come from that. 1 or 2 or 3 or 20 bad experiences that it's nice to kind of make it magical.
I love it. And certainly we see that in your work as well.
Right.
We're going to explore that in just a bit. But before we go there, what I wanted to do is I wanted to circle back, because I brought something up, and if I don't bring it up now, I'm going to absolutely forget it. And that is, as we walked through the front door, I said, there was a connection between Nightmare Cleveland and you.
Yes,
right?
there is.
And then that is, you did quite a bit of painting.
I did.
There too. Give us a little background on that.
Oh, that was so fun. Well, I met Brian Dembski at an art show, actually, at a punk rock flea market. And he had messaged me maybe a week or 2 later asking if I wanted to learn some things from him about the haunt industry and if I wanted to paint for him. And I thought, oh my God, what a fucking badass opportunity. Cool. So that was fun. And
so he invited you in,
he invited
and you
me
went in,
and he taught me a whole bunch of cool stuff about faux finishing, and I had a lot of fun, and I learned so much that now I could apply to so many other things. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I think some people would pay a whole lot of money for a mentoring and the opportunity to work side by side with somebody with his skills. But I didn't even know that until just
the
tonight.
amount of gratitude, I mean, like I didn't. It was like more volunteer than anything. I was very grateful to get paid, and like in the sense that I learned something.
Yeah.
The pay was more about the opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
It was a really fun thing to do.
And if any of you have gone through Nightmare Cleveland, I know that there's probably hundreds that will already know that. You know how very important that distressing and that brutal reality sets that are there.
Yeah.
How very unique that is. And the fingerprints are out there too was great news to me.
Oh, it was great. It was so much fun. And like I said, the learning experience was awesome. I couldn't have asked for a better thing to do for the season.
and it seems to fit with your Magickally Morbid.
Sure, it does.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know a little bit by following you on Facebook, and I would imagine that you have other platforms that you're spending some time on. Tell us a little bit about those and where we'd find you.
Oh, just Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, those are the only two. I don't do too much.
On Instagram, is it the same?
It's the same. It's Magickally Morbid 777.
Magickally spelled
with a CK.
CK. Gotcha,
Like old school, you know.
Yeah, and what we'll do too, we'll go ahead and for those who are on here. I mean, obviously the name is there, and so we'll tag that Instagram handle there as well, so you can just grab it and check out your work there too. But painting is just a portion of what you do. Tell us a little bit about your creative endeavors outside of painting, and then your artwork and your sculpture and your repurposing and your. So tell us the other art that you're.
The other art is everyday living. Eat, sleep, breathe art. Music is art too, and I love to sing, and I love to express myself through different movements in the body. I like to dance. I don't know. I think living is just art. I'm grateful to be here, so every moment is artful, you know? But I play classical guitar, but I play it in a folky way. I don't I'm not real strong with my technique, so if there's a solo or a lead part, I'll play the rhythm and then I'll sing that solo. I'll scat it with my voice. Yeah. And it's so much better than any guitar solo I could ever have produced. My voice is much better than that. But
you're talking about movement.
Yes.
Right? I know that a lot of the photos that I've seen has the photography, right? And so there's some modeling, but it's not just static modeling. There's movement in your presentation.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. Is it, in other words, what does a photo shoot with Maria look like?
It's fluid, it's raw, it's undeveloped, it's natural. I don't know, it's real.
Much like your work.
Yeah. I did the makeup thing for a long time with modeling, and now I'm not really wearing makeup, and I'm really enjoying it. It's fun, and to me that's art, being able to be comfortable with every little thing that I see on my face, and being able to smile and see it in a photograph and be grateful. Yeah. It's nice, So it's really just all about being comfortable with yourself. And letting other people see that comfortability to inspire others to also be authentic and raw.
I've heard folks, as we were talking about meeting with you today, the words that were used to describe you were kind, beautiful, inspiring, and that was not news to me. But as I'm here, just going, hey, we're going to be meeting with Magickally Morbid, and I hear some of these really positive, influential, descriptors, for you. It made me anxious in a good way, excited to talk, because the dichotomy, the yin yang of your work is of interest to folks out here and to Craig and I too. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to go ahead and throw those out. So tell us, what are you moving up here, Craig? I'm going to get out to make sure that I step out of the shadow.
Yeah,
so
me too.
This piece.
So that guy is an armadillo I found in Florida. And he was kind of dirty when I found him. I cleaned him up pretty good. He didn't have ears. Somebody ate his ears. But so I thought he would look pretty without flowers, but more just a metallic. So that's what I did. But at that point in time, I was really struggling with some things in my life, like with boundaries. And sometimes I find that the universe sends me little tidbits, messages through animals to remind me of the things that I already know. And it's funny, I was really struggling with the situation, and I found that guy, and it was just like, oh yeah, thanks.
So
he's got that hard shell that protects him, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The work. Let's talk about this piece, since this is kind of the first one we're exploring here. So you've got these bits and pieces, right? And you're also dealing with something, and it comes together as this piece. Tell us a little bit about that process. Is it haptic? Is it placing and moving? Is it really super intentional? It's
very intentional, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ask for help and I receive it like that. And then I say, what can I learn from the animal? And I read about the animal and what its habits are, what its life's like, what it does. And there's always something to be learned from the animals. It's so funny how it always is spot on every time. Yeah.
So tell us about, so give us a little tour of a couple of your pieces here, because you have a defined space here in this gallery, and you may want to take us, through a certain direction.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you will, I guess.
Yeah, and we're gonna and direct Craig too, because the folks that are watching will have a chance to hear your voice and talk about those pieces. Yeah.
Well, you asked me about my name, Magickally Morbid.
Yes.
Right. So this painting with the wolf right here, if you look closer, it's like kind of half woman, half wolf, right?
Yeah, let me grab this here, Craig. Half woman, half wolf.
Right. And I was diagnosed with lupus like probably 12 years ago. And it's really changed my life, in good ways and in bad, but probably more good ways than bad. I've learned a lot about myself and can definitely be grateful for it now. But this painting is about overcoming illness, because you have to be what you fear in order to overcome it sometimes. And so that was my biggest lesson, and really why I started doing a lot more art. I was a full-time hairdresser for a long time and had a regular job. And honestly, it was great, it was fulfilling. But when I got, sick, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, was the worst times of my sickness. And I stopped working for a while, and all I did was this. And it did so much for me. It changed my whole life. Art fixed me in ways that nothing else ever could. So that's really what my art's about, is transmutation of energy and learning to heal,
I'll tell you what, Gappy, I agree. Nice painting. We appreciate you guys jumping on, and Heather, thank you for jumping on here too, because you were a guest artist just a few weeks ago. You definitely see, your self-portrait and the story behind it. Did you create this piece inside that frame?
Yes, I did.
It all worked together?
Yeah, I found that frame. I trash picked it in Lakewood. I found it, and I thought it was so beautiful, and I had to do something with it. So I painted on it, and I put a whole bunch of pine cones and pine needles, and the bottom where all the trees are is actually ink and water and alcohol mixed together to create that. And then I poured resin on top of it, but I didn't want it to be perfect because I'm not perfect. And so it sort of like is once again with the flaws and being comfortable with them. Full circle.
And so, Gappy, we did see your question, and that is, no, I'm not that much taller. I was standing up on a riser. We're not that much different in height, Maria and I. But there is something magical, and I'm not being goofy here, about the transparency there.
Sure.
And not a lot of folks, I think, are willing to share a diagnosis and a turning point. And so thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
That's an important piece. Is that even for sale? Are you like, no, this is not for sale?
It's for sale.
It's for sale.
It's
so
for
like
sale.
Even those really...
Those vulnerable moments are for sale because I don't need to hold on to them anymore.
Yeah, good point.
It doesn't have to be my story.
Yeah.
I can be a different person with a different story.
Yeah.
And someone else can look at that and see something totally different than what I painted.
Yeah.
Art is subjective, and that's why it's so cool, you know?
Good.
I like that you put all that emotion in there and your hurt feelings and all that, and you get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's gone
Yeah.
from you.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Do you find
Thank you.
do you find that as Craig is observing that part of your process of, I mean, this is a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyways, is part of the process of dealing with things creating art around it
Yeah.
and then telling the story behind it?
I mean, of course. I mean, it's not so much telling the story as it is the human connection. A lot of the times when people buy my art, they're going through some of the same things I was, and even if they're not voicing it.
Yeah.
And that's why we resonate on that level, because that energy is in that painting, and you're attracted to that energy because you are that energy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get rid of that energy, and maybe you'll receive my healing by me getting rid of that energy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. What's is the piece on top?
Yes.
Is that also your work?
That is also my work. The owl?
Yeah.
Yes. I sometimes paint portraits of the animals I find in the woods, and that I pay homage to. And I had found this owl. It had flown directly into a car. And I don't usually work with roadkill at all, ever. But because it wasn't run over, it smashed itself.
Yeah.
I thought that was significant. And I was grieving. I had a friend that passed away when I found this owl, and it felt very much like, oh, I need to take this owl home and make something beautiful. So I did, but I won't show it because I'm not supposed to have it because it's protected by the migratory bird law. But I painted it instead.
Yeah.
So that's the barred owl, and I made like little mushrooms, clay mushrooms, and I attached those and some moss to make it 3D too. You can kind of see.
There's dimension to your work.
Yeah.
Even your paintings, right?
Yes. Yeah. I don't like things to be flat, and if they are flat, they're textured paintings to where, like this one over here.
Yeah, which one? Oh, this one here?
Like this one here is.
Yeah, I'm going to step out of the. Should come this way.
So you can see like the wolf in the moon, but it could also be a bear. It's subjective.
Yeah.
And then there's all these bubbles, and she's sitting on a log, and there's the trees changing colors.
Yeah. This painting.
Yeah.
How long ago did you do this painting?
It's an old painting.
It's an old painting?
It's an old painting, yeah. I did it probably 6 years ago. It's an older painting, but I just didn't really have it for sale for a while. I was just keeping it in shows because I like it.
Because it's a favorite. It's one of
my
those
favorites.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really going through as much when I painted that. That was more just like I was having fun. Me and my friends had a paint party.
Oh. And again, like your dance and like your modeling, we see movement here as well.
Yeah.
Take us to the next piece.
Okay. There's some pieces up there.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we can back up the camera a little bit. Yeah, that's a fox skull.
Oh, this one here.
That one that your camera's on right now, yeah. That little guy's pretty cool. Foxes are so smart. They outsmart just about anything. And the clematis flower that's painted on it symbolizes the resourcefulness that the fox has. Because, if you know anything about clematises, you can pull them out 50 million fucking times, and the motherfuckers
And they
don't.
just keep coming right back, right?
That's why I painted that on the fox. And that's a little deer right there, little doe.
That's a beautiful piece.
Thank you.
They're all beautiful, but that middle one really, and I think the fact that it's long.
Yes.
It's long. It is I think what speaks to me.
Yeah.
The nature portion.
Yeah. And that's a sheep. That's a sheep skull.
Oh, this last one was a sheep?
Yes.
So you're finding inspiration, right, in death,
Yes.
right, but also in nature. And
Yes.
so, like, you're finding yourself out in the woods.
All the time.
And are these skulls that you found yourself, or
Most of the time
Most of
they
the time,
are.
yeah.
Sometimes people find them for me. It's so funny. If I don't find them, they find me, and I don't have to look at all, which is kind of nice, you know. Usually I'm in the woods. This is how it started. But now that so many people know that I do this with the bones, they just are like, "Hey, I have bones in my closet. Do you want them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I definitely could use some more bones."
I love this this piece here because this is I've never seen a claw that big.
Yeah, I mean, that was gifted to me, which was cool.
Tell us about this one.
Oh, I spent some time in Florida, and when I came back from Florida, somebody, a good friend of mine, had gifted that to me. And I thought, oh, that's nice. I'll paint it, because I was thinking of Florida and remembering it so fondly. And, you know, it reminded me kind of, even though it's not really a crab claw, it's a lobster claw, it was the same kind of message, don't be a crab in a bucket. You know what I mean? Like, it was good memories there. And I think maybe when I was in Florida, I might have had a crab in the bucket attitude at least once. So.
And this crab piece, is this a different piece than the painted horn, you know, below it? Two different pieces, right?
The lobster piece is different than the horn piece is cool. It's an ox horn. So I painted that too. That was also gifted to me, but, you know.
James, Gabby wants to know if it was those skulls up there were collected from natural death.
Yes. Yes, they were.
Says, yeah,
This
it's created cool.
This flips around, and there's another side to it if you wanted to look at it. And it'll stay
So
flipped
it could
around.
hang in a window, or you could just turn it.
Yeah,
based
you could
upon
turn
your-
it however you wanted to turn it. The color scheme goes from the blue and the gray and the white to the reds, oranges, yellows, like opposite.
did you also epoxy
Yes.
coat these? I love that shine.
Yeah, it's fun,
Yeah,
isn't
there's
it?
something really fun about that.
Yeah, I love the shine too. I feel like it really gives the colors an extra pop too.
And I imagine it really preserves, you know, your subject matter.
It
right?
does, yeah.
That's what this.
That's a little deer hoof. I found, me and my boyfriend found that deer when we were hunting turkey. Actually, he had found it and saved it for me, and I came back and it was gnarly. It's pretty stinky, and I cleaned it. And, you know, painted it and made it a little talisman to hang somewhere.
Little piece.
Yeah. There's that guy. This guy down here is also a deer.
Now this isn't just grab something and paint it. There is some work behind displaying this.
There was no strategy at all.
There's no strategy?
No, I work like intuitively. Like what happens is I'll find a piece and then it just tells me what it wants on it. You know, this guy wanted it to be painted black, and I felt like these flowers needed to be put on them, so I did.
But there's some engineering behind keeping it standing.
Yeah.
Or upright.
Yes, there is.
Tell us a little bit about that, because I think that's an important piece, right?
Yeah. I stuck a big metal pole in through here, and I also wired it a little bit, and then I also used a really strong JB Weld glue in between all of the vertebrae to keep everything good.
And
then I also resined all over the whole thing, just like that, just to make it even better.
I love the fact that even the wire that you use to keep it upright matches some of the lines in the painting that you did. So you don't even see the structure. You don't even see that it's it's held together with great purpose. It just blends right into your strategy of paint and presentation.
I'm glad you think so. I was worried about it. I thought, I don't know, but it worked out. It did. It did work out well. And that's a really big geode that we found in Kentucky that's anchoring it together.
I'm such a rock hound.
Are you into that?
When I was a kid, I'd walk around with rocks
Yeah.
in my pocket, and my wife's like, "You bringing more rocks home?" I'm like, "Yep, I found a rock I like." Thank you for sharing this. Tell us about this little piece, because
This little guy?
yeah,
This little guy, that's actually a rabbit hide. I skinned a rabbit that I had found, and I took the rabbit and basically just painted on the hide after I had dried it out. And I painted trees, and those are its little chompers underneath.
James wants to know what the significance of the toothbrush is.
The toothbrush. What toothbrush?
my toothbrush, Dappy.
Oh, those are rabbit jaws. Yeah. That's so funny.
At first glance, it looks like a toothbrush.
It does, I suppose. It is funny. Well, they are teeth.
Yeah.
When you create, what does your space look like?
I try not to be messy, but I'm messy. I have a little silicone sheet I put down.
Okay.
But I get crazy with it. Like, if it's canvas, I'm on the floor. I don't use an easel ever. Like, I'm on the floor. And that's just how it is.
And do you have a studio that you close the door behind and you go into your space and create and finish a piece? Or
No, it's not really like that.
Yeah.
Like, I travel a lot, and I live in an RV. So, I was in Kentucky for a while there, and we just use the space we have. So it's a mess, but I clean it up really good when I'm done.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a whole bunch of containers of borax sitting on the dashboard of the RV.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anything here that we missed that's an important piece to talk about, or?
I don't think so.
No?
I think we got it all today. Yeah.
Tell us what 2024 might look like, or are you a one that you're like, listen, I'm going to go week by week, day by day, and the journey will take me where it takes me?
That is exactly it.
That's it.
Yeah. Like, I used to be a planner, but life is short, and I'm trying to learn how to go with the flow a little more. So,
Are you a
surrender.
Clevelander? Were you born and raised here, or are you just staying here for a bit?
No, I'm born and raised here.
Right.
Yeah.
In terms of anybody who's joining us today, we appreciate you doing so. We're at Negative Space, and we're at the gallery down here, right off of 90. It was like 22 minutes from North Royalton.
It's not even that far.
You can get down here no matter where you're at.
That's great. Yeah. East 38th and Superior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a great space to be. As we kind of close down, if there's no other questions, and again, we encourage you to do two things. We encourage you to ask questions even on the recorded session. We also encourage you to share, because if you share, we know it. And next week, if your name is drawn, you'll get a piece from Maria.
Yes.
And we are not. You will not know what that piece is going to be.
Nope, it's a mystery
until it arrives at your residence, right?
Cool beans.
There's some folks out here that might be facing those difficult times, right? And might be just going, I've got a dead armadillo on my hands, but I'm going through some different things. So what might be a suggestion? And I know that's a strange question, but I'm throwing it at you anyway. Okay.
Armadillos are known for their boundaries. Like their hard shell. Like even after they're gone, that hard shell is part of them. It's still there. All the other organs, all the other bones, everything else is gone, but that hard shell is there.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just I knew at that moment when I was struggling to let someone into my life, I was wondering, is this the right choice? Is this the right choice? And I don't know. That guy with the armor told me, nah, you should keep your armor on.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've created and challenged us to think in different ways.
Right.
You know, to observe those things that are around us, and certainly, you know, as we're hiking through the national park and the woods near our house, we may see things differently because of this interview.
Cool beans.
Yeah, we appreciate
That's my
you guys.
hope.
Yeah, we appreciate you sharing your story, sharing some really personal things, sharing your artwork. Thank you to Negative Space Gallery for showing your work and for allowing us to kind of, you know,
Knowing the story behind it too is just makes it that much more, brings more value to it personally, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to share.
Yeah.
I'm happy that people want to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Makes it more special.
Yeah.
Nice.
And guys, we appreciate you sharing us with your Tuesday nights with us here
Yes,
this week.
thank you.
We will see you next week. Again, we're going to encourage you to share. We'll draw a name next week, and thank you for sharing your Tuesdays with us.
Thanks so much.
See you next time.